Someone told you to be more visible, and something in you hesitated. Not because you lacked confidence, because you have data. You know what the institution does when someone steps forward the wrong way. You have felt it. You may have the performance review to prove it. That hesitation is not fear. It is one of the most finely calibrated survival skills you have ever built. And today, we are going to talk about what it's costing you to keep running it. Hello, I'm Amanda L. Christian, CEO and founder of SoulFIRE Leadership. I spent 33 years leading inside finance and technology. I'm also the author of SoulFIRE Leadership, the leadership model women were never taught, available on Amazon. Let's dive in. Here's the piece of the visibility conversation that almost never gets included. I received a performance review in writing where my manager had written that I was aggressive about my career. Not ambitious, aggressive. It went into the record. The institution formally documented that stepping forward had a cost. I have heard the rumors, the ones that explain a senior leader's success by erasing it entirely. I've heard them about myself, and I will tell you what it felt like. It felt like a gut punch. Not because I was afraid of what people thought, but because I had spent up to 33 years earning every single inch of where I stood. And there was a story circulating that had nothing to do with my work. And then there are the assignments. I was once given a project, which was actually a very large program, where every delay, every complication, every moment the institution needed somewhere to put the blame, I was standing right there at the front of it, visible in every direction, face on every problem. That is what visibility looks like from the inside. That is what your hesitation was built on. When you were building it, you were not being irrational. You were being precise. You did not decide to become less visible. You got very good at sensing what the institution rewarded and what it punished, and you adjusted. That is the same intelligence that kept you in the room when others did not make it. And after years of calibrating how much space was safe to take, you stopped noticing you were doing it. The adjustment became the default. Defaults do not check whether the environment has changed before they run. I did this too. I kept running that strategy in rooms that no longer required it, still editing what I was picking up before it left my mouth. Here is what I want to name. The instincts you have been editing before they leave your mouth are not the problem. They are the most accurate sense of what is actually happening in the room, available to anyone sitting at that table. The pattern recognition that flags a deal before the numbers catch up, the early signal on how something is going to land, the sense about a person that turns out to be exactly right 3 months later. That's not anxiety. That's not oversensitivity. That is years of finely calibrated intelligence that the institution trained you to distrust. Every time you soften it, hedge it, or kept it to yourself, yes, you were being a professional, and you were paying a tax on the most valuable thing you bring into any room. I want to be precise about something because I suspect you already have tried some version of a solution. Executive presence work is real. Communication training has its place. I'm not here to tell you those tools are worthless. What I'm here to tell you is that they work one level up from where the cost is actually being paid. They help you perform the role more skillfully. They do not reach what you've been doing to your instincts in the process. The editing, the filtering, the signal you have been sitting on for years because you were trained to stop trusting your own judgment in that room. You can develop genuine executive presence and still be paying that tax every single day. The two are not in conflict. They are just operating at different depths. What has not held is not the training. What has not held is the assumption that the training alone reaches deep enough. Just before I submitted my retirement paperwork, I was on a call with a new manager who had decided I was incompetent before he had bothered to learn what I actually knew. He was doubling down, confident, and wrong in nearly every particular point. And something in me just stopped. Not exploded, stopped. I said, "Sir, you don't know what you're talking about. Here's why," and I went into it in detail. I walked him through all of it. The history of the project, the work we had already delivered with the business unit, floored by what we had created enough to share with other business units who now wanted to use our application. And we had only done maybe like a quarter of building it out at that point. The results? His errors, one by one. I was not angry. I was not performing. I was just finally, completely, unapologetically there. All 33 years of it, in the room, at full volume, no softening, no rewriting what I wanted to say, with a little bit of "I don't give a damn" underneath it all. Because I was weeks from walking out the door, and I was done managing my presence down for people who had not earned the right to that version of me. What I have thought about since is, why did it take retirement to get there? The knowledge was always complete. The track record was always real. The only thing that changed was that I no longer needed the institution's permission to take up a space my expertise had already earned. You do not have to wait that long. The hesitation is a finely tuned system built from real evidence that learned to keep you safe inside a machine that punished stepping forward. That system served you, and it runs on data that is, in many cases, maybe a decade at least old. The cost shows up as the instinct you softened before the meeting, the position you pulled back on when you did not need to, what your gut was telling you that you kept to yourself because you had learned to stop trusting it. You do not need to add anything. You probably do not need more confidence, more presence, more polish, more strategy. The version of you that can stop the room cold is not a future version you have to build. She was always there underneath the performance layer, waiting for you to stop managing her down. The answer is not another layer on top. The answer is subtraction. What changes is not you. What changes is what you stop doing to yourself. What that looks like in practice is not another standoff in a conference room. It looks like a Wednesday strategy session where you say what you are actually thinking in the way you are actually thinking it, and it lands. No pre-edit, no bracing for the aftermath. It looks like making a call and moving on, not running it back through your head for 3 days straight. It looks like getting home and actually being there, not replaying the meeting in your head while someone is trying to talk to you at the dinner table. Actually being there and being present in the moment. The question is not whether to become more visible. It is whether you are ready to stop hiding what was never the problem to begin with. That requires something different. Not braver or more polished, just done running a protection system on rooms that no longer require the level of protection you have been paying for. If you want to see where this is operating in your own leadership right now, the SoulFIRE Leadership Audit is free. You can get the link in the description below. The book is there too when you're ready to go deeper. If this is the kind of conversation you want more of, please subscribe. If this resonated, please hit the like button and share this with someone who might need to hear this. I post conversations like these every Wednesday. This is SoulFIRE Leadership, where we talk about what it actually costs to lead at the senior level and what becomes possible when you stop paying the wrong price for it. See you next week.